class. Welcome to our weekly chat. Just want to get a few things out of the way and then I'll leave you to your data analysis. So first, everyone should have sent out their survey and should be getting ready to close it within the next 24 to 48 hours. The majority of you should have received your responses already. It's just a matter of collecting those last minute ones. I've had a couple of questions about how many responses you realistically need to collect to do the data analysis. And the answer is about 30 or more. Let's put it that way, to run a realistic data analysis. If you collected fewer than 30 responses, please let me know as soon as possible so we can go ahead and make accommodations with that. In some cases, we'll need to send that survey out again and see if we can collect more responses. If you sent your survey out via social media and have that few responses, please go ahead and post it again as soon as possible. If you sent your survey out via email to BYU Idaho students and haven't already sent a follow-up email, please go ahead and do that. I know this time frame doesn't fit exactly with what Brother Palmer told you when he provided you with those email addresses, but we need to close those surveys pretty soon. So if that follow-up email hasn't been sent, let's go ahead and do that, even though it may not have been 7 full days yet. So the data analysis, it's happening. How exciting is this? I hope that every team has elected a stats guru to lead this. If you haven't, today is your day. Pick someone to spearhead this. They don't have to do all the data analysis, as I've been saying. They need to be the one who is guiding you through this. So hopefully you all have someone. If you don't, please let me know. We need to make sure we assign that job to someone. So let's talk a little bit about what I mean by results section. So the results section is where you explain exactly what your results said with relation to your research questions. So you're not going to provide me any information that goes like, this happened because this. I'm not asking you to look for an explanation of why something happened. I'm just looking to you to report what happened. And the reason is that the so what and connections to previous research and where you say whether or not your research questions were answered in a way that you thought would happen, all of those things are going to happen in the discussion section. So this is just where you're providing all that background information, all of the raw details, so that you can take that and turn it into the so what in the discussion section. Please keep that in mind. This section is going to be 1.5 to 2 pages. Remember, your final paper is 6 full pages. So you have a somewhat limited amount of space to provide that information. So you need to be careful. Anything that you think must have a chart, please use the chart. But if something can be said in narrative form or sentence form, please use that. That takes up significantly less space than a chart. Okay, let's talk about those charts and tables. The charts, tables, graphs, those are an excellent way to display information. They are something you're going to want to do now to include later in your poster, but in a lot of cases, you won't have enough room to include all of those beautiful charts, tables, graphs, whatever, in the body of the paper. If you have something that is awesome and you think illustrates your point even better than just explaining it in text, and you don't have room in your paper, please consider including it in the appendix. And what do I mean by that? The appendix is a section that comes at the end of your paper. It comes after the, it comes after the references. It does not count towards your 6 pages of text, neither do the references, but the appendix is an additional section where you can point readers to for more information. So if you include a chart, table, figure, whatever in the appendix, you will say, please see table 1.1, whatever you've decided to title it, appendix A, B, C, whichever appendix C it is in. That is the only way that you can include it in the appendix if you mention it there. Also, if you have something excellent and the information is important to answering your research questions and you choose to include it in the appendix, you must include an explanation of it in the text. You can't just say, see Appendix A, because assume that no one's actually going to flip to Appendix A. I will, but make the assumption that no one else is going to do that. So it makes absolutely no sense if you just say, see table 1.1 Appendix A and provide no explanation. You must provide an explanation, then you must tell people where to find it. Just keep that in mind. Something to keep in mind, you must, I cannot emphasize this enough, you must title, label, set up your charts, tables, figures in APA format. That means every chart, table, figure needs a label and a title. For example, table 1.1, gender and sleep. Perfect. That is perfect. Please visit the Purdue OWL for information on how to do this correctly. Please trust me, you want to do these charts and tables correctly, because if you choose to include them, which most of you will, and they are not done correctly, you will lose points. This is a very fast way to lose points, because all I have to do is look at it and see that it's wrong. But you can save points and help boost your grade by doing it correctly. So do it correctly. Look at the Purdue OWL. It's very straightforward how to do it. If you have any questions, please let me know. So let's dive into the data analysis just a little bit. Some people have asked, do I need to answer questions beyond my research questions? And the answer to that is sort of. So for example, maybe your research questions didn't ask specifically what impact age, gender, year in school, etc. had on whatever variable. But those are things that the reader is naturally going to jump to. They're naturally going to say, okay, well, you've come to this conclusion, but what impact did gender have on it? What impact did age have on it? So you need to explore those. You need to explore if there is a difference between those very easy factors, like gender, like age, like year in school, if that is something that you looked at. But specifically gender, look at gender. If you are saying these people brush their teeth, I don't really know what impacts brushing their teeth, you need to have said there is a difference between gender, there is not a difference between gender. These very easy factors need to be looked at, even if they are not explicitly stated in your research questions. If you are using Qualtrics, this is fairly easy to do with a crosstab. Qualtrics will split your information for you, and you can see the different responses by gender. If you are looking at, if you used Google Forms, you can use Google Sheets or Excel, whichever you decide to use, and create a pivot table that looks at the difference in answers by gender, by age, you know, some of those major factors. You need to look at that, because I will look at that and you will not have completed the assignment. Yes, it's not explicitly stated in your research questions, but part of the assignment asks you to look at some of the factors. They may have an impact on the results, and that is definitely one that has an impact on the results. So I've had some questions about how far do you need to look at with the correlations? Well, this is kind of a fluid thing. Traditionally, we've asked that students look into the correlation between variables and go a step further. We want you to do a t-test. We want you to do a chi-square. We want you to run a regression analysis. We are making a change in expectations in the course so that we want you to have frequencies down well. We want you to have crosstabs down well. And some of the other stuff becomes less important. So yes, you do need to explore those things like gender with crosstabs or a pivot table, depending on which program you're using. But maybe you don't need to go that step further and calculate the chi-square if you do not feel it is applicable to your specific study. In some cases, it will not be. It will not be. Remember that we are learning to go through the process of a research paper. I'm not asking you to publish information. So yes, you can keep this fairly superficial, but if you do that, that means you need to have explored all the possible frequencies and crosstabs and included the relevant ones, not every single one, but all the relevant ones in your text. So I hope that answers questions on the data analysis. As always, I am more than happy to preview your results section prior to it being turned in. I believe that would put us at Monday, July 1st. I will be leaving on Monday, July 1st. So if you would like me to preview your results section, please email it to me no later than Sunday night, June 30th. I apologize that it's Sunday night. This is not required. Feel free to email it to me before. And I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. As I said, I will be out of town next week. I will have phone, I will have internet. Please let me know if you have any questions. Me being out of town should have very little impact on you. I hope that you all have an excellent July 4th weekend. I don't know, July 4th is like a Thursday, so I don't know where it would fall on that. But I hope that you all have an excellent week. And with that being said, because July 3rd is not a holiday, we do still have assignments due on July 3rd. So that result section is due on Wednesday, July 3rd by 11 p.m. That is the big thing that is due in the next few days. Please focus on that first before you look at some of the other assignments that are coming up. I know you have some questions about that data analysis assignment that was just turned in last night. If you have questions about that assignment and you haven't yet watched the video that was posted several weeks ago, it's called Lesson 9 Homework Help. Please watch me, I think. Please go through and watch that because it will tell you exactly how you needed to go through that assignment. I will provide you with feedback as well, but that will answer some of your questions quickly, especially if you have questions before we head into the results section. Okay, so your results section is due on the 3rd, which means those surveys need to close no later than tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is Friday night. Please close those. Give yourself time to write that data analysis. Remember, these need to be complete sentences. It needs to make sense. It needs to sound like a college junior or senior is writing it, and I know that you can do it because your writing has come so far in the last few months. So you're going to do that. And the next big thing we're going to do is due on the 10th, and that is just a focus group. It's going to require that you watch this video. I understand this is not a great focus group. I understand the assignment is not awesome, but this is the best exposure that we currently have to a focus group. I'll send out a focus group transcript, etc., in the upcoming announcements that will give you a little bit more exposure. Okay, so on July 10th, you have that focus group assignment due. That is an individual assignment. Then we are running right into the final research paper, which is due on July 17th. Please, please, please make sure that you have compiled everything and you are ready to go for that research paper. If you turn your research paper in early, you may get a grade early. Just saying. I'm going to try and grade things as quickly as possible as we get towards the end of the semester. So I'm hoping that you'll have a somewhat 24-hour turnaround time with that. It might be 48 hours. But if you would like feedback on your final paper, please let me know. I'm happy to provide that as well. I just need to have the entire final paper to provide that feedback, and I will provide the feedback one time, just like I will provide the feedback one time for the results section. So the final paper is due on the 17th. The final research poster, which is an individual assignment, is basically a visual representation of what you personally learned on that research paper, is due on the 20th, and then we are downhill from there. So once you turn in that research paper on the 17th, you are done with group work. I know, woohoo, you are done with group work. So I highly recommend once you turn that in, you turn in your final peer evaluation. It's not officially due until the 26th, but we want to make sure we do that as soon as possible, because if you do not turn in the final peer evaluation, you will not pass and you will get to be my special buddy again next semester. And none of you want that. None of you want to be in 391 again with me next semester, especially because we're changing 391 entirely, so you won't be able to use any of the same stuff, which will really be a bummer. So make sure you turn that in, I'd say by the 20th. So it's a lot of information to throw at you, but the data analysis is coming. Data analysis is due on the 3rd. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Please let me know how I can help you, and happy Thursday.